greatest of all time. But there was a time where Michael Jordan was unbelievable. But if he would have stuck with baseball, he would have never been the greatest of all. Boy, the discussions they would have had on First Take if he would have stuck with baseball. Could you imagine the discussions on First Take? But that was life before the internet. That was life before social media. All we had was one Sports Illustrated article saying, bag it, Michael. Other than that, we were just like, Michael Jordan's playing baseball now.
Think they regret that, Justin? I don't think they ever talked to Michael again.
Man, they're kind of not really a thing anymore.
They're not really around.
But there's these things where it's like, boy, man, if the internet existed, the internet existed. Well, the internet exists today, and because the internet exists today, I don't trust an awful lot of stuff. I woke up this morning, pumped up, sun shining. Right now, it wasn't shining when I woke up, but you could just kind of tell. It's going to be a good day. It's a Friday. Walk downstairs, and I'll usually turn on a podcast or a YouTube video or something and just kind of, as I get ready, just kind of have something on in the background, and I flipped on my phone. Now, I don't get sports alerts. I don't get notifications unless it is something gigantic. I don't know. I think I've turned the filters down enough.
You don't get like every ESPN?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No. It has to be something massive. And I flip on my phone and I go to turn on just a show I've been watching. And you know how now you have glasses, so I'm assuming when you wake up, it's a little blurry. I don't have glasses, but a little sleepy-eyed. And I'm like, Scottie Scheffler detained by Louisville PD. And I'm like, I'm reading this wrong. This is something different. I'm not reading this wrong. This is not right. And I'm like, I'm gonna go brush my teeth, get a coffee going, see clearly I'm still asleep.
Do you
clearly I'm still asleep? I thought I'm like, that's wrong. I
was pretty baffled when I saw it this
somebody morning. Got okay, I don't want to say the name of it, but there's the fake Twitter accounts that look like real Twitter accounts. Yes. That's what I'm like, this is clearly a Barry, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I literally
I don't want to say it because it's pretty vulgar.
Yeah.
But I'm like, somebody got in the middle of the night, TMZ or something, Scottie Scheffler goes, and then after I brush my teeth, get a swig of coffee, let the dog out to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, wait, there's a video.
Yeah, I didn't believe it.
Oh my God,
I didn't believe it until I got out of the shower. So I literally, very much like you, I woke up, rolled over, and I'm like...
Because isn't Adam Schefter?
Yeah, that's happened.
And there's fake Woj.
Yeah, that's happened. And they figure out a way to make it look like they have a blue check mark, too.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't trust anything
But I rolled over and I put this, because, this didn't happen last night, Justin. So I, had to put this in the update. And I'm like, okay, let's put this in. And I'm like, I'm still kind of skeptical. I'll talk to Justin about this. Then I get out of the shower and I'm like, oh, Justin, there's the video. Not good.
So we will continue to update you on this situation.
Yes,
we will dive into it because there is sadly a tragedy that went along with this, and it led to a misunderstanding, maybe a bit of a you-know-what contest between some alpha males that led to handcuffs, that led to...
It's been known to happen a time or two.
Jumpsuits that led to mugshots. But
that's nuts.
I'm like, somebody, and I'm like, boy, I kind of laughed because I'm like, somebody got. Because for it to end up in an update, because it was like ESPN says, and I'm like, oh, whoever's running the update thing at ESPN is in trouble because they got buried, if you know what I'm saying, on Twitter. They got fake sports centered, and the internet got them. It's like, turns out the internet did not get got. Scottie Scheffler's walking away in handcuffs, and they got put into an orange jumpsuit, and he got mugshot, arrested, processed. Now, 12 minutes ago, let me make sure. It's not Adam.
Seeing that mugshot.
Adam Schefter reported 12 minutes ago that Scottie Scheffler is now on his way to Valhalla.
Of course
he is going to make his tee time.
Of course he is.
But
probably police escort, too. Probably get through the traffic this time. I'm sorry, Justin. I can't help myself for how silly this is.
Did he get a police escort?
I'm sure he has to beat the tee time.
Did he trust a police escort at this particular time? Would he turn it down?
It's where like I guarantee you this is a case where like the captain came in. He goes, Scottie, I am so sorry. Would you like a private escort back to Valhalla? This has been a terrible, like, it's not even like a fast food place where you're like, here's a gift card for your troubles. Like, you know, Justin, you're married to a lawyer. I imagine there are lawyers out there who are like,
yeah,
right? I mean, am I wrong?
There will be lawyers. There will be lawyers. There will be much discussion. There will be, I don't know if there will be lawsuits filed, but there will be releases.
Discussions, yeah.
There will be press releases. There will be maybe a private meeting. But this whole thing was...
I'm happy he's on his way back. That's the important thing. He wasn't arrested for very long. That's the important thing, I guess.
And here's what's kind of weird. I can see, like, I've read through everything that's available. I can see both sides. I could also see myself fully doing what Scottie Scheffler did. I could completely see myself. Didn't know. Now, there was a horrible, tragic accident that happened, which is why there was a traffic stoppage. The tournament was delayed, I believe, almost 2 hours. So the tournament's going to be delayed 2 hours. Everybody probably thinks it's going to be delayed 2 hours because Scottie Scheffler got arrested. It's actually delayed 2 hours because, sadly, someone was trying to cross a busy street. There was a dedicated bus line. They got hit, and there was a tragic pedestrian accident. So that's why cops are on the scene. There's a crime scene there. Traffic is being held up. But I've been to so many events where, I'll be honest, I got a parking pass. I have a superiority complex. You just do. You do. If you've ever had a parking pass, you've had it too. You're like, well, I have a pass. I'm not waiting in this line with the peons.
And I don't want to paint Scottie Scheffler with a broad brush, Justin. But let me just ask you, if in your head you knew that you were the greatest golfer in the world right now, would that add to your superiority complex? I think it would.
Or like not even the. It's just I am trying to win this tournament. I've never been stopped to any tournament ever on a traffic thing. That's what. But then maybe when the cop says stop, you roll down the window and be like, I'm just trying to get to the tournament instead of ignore him and keep driving. This whole thing
probably wasn't his best move, the ignoring and keep driving part. But
probably one he'd like to have back.
He makes his tee time though.
If I'm the cop, probably would like to have maybe back the. Maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe this is a
point of pride.
Maybe I don't know. But this whole thing is we're going to find out more and more. Or maybe we're not. Maybe they're going to suppress this and bury this. And I am fascinated to see how Scottie Scheffler does today.
I mean, how do you flush this? Just this is like a coach be like, flush it next day.
Move it, like, dude,
you're in flush that.
You're in an orange jumpsuit and your mugshot is
on the internet now.
Because I saw and then when I saw Scottie Scheffler detained after a traffic incident, and I'm like, Scottie Scheffler, was he drunk driving? I'm like, there's no way.
First thing I thought too.
But then I'm like, there's no way. He's in the morning round. Those guys don't drink when they're at a tournament. They go to the tournament, they play their round, they go back to their Airbnb. And I think Scottie Scheffler, he's the most unassuming, I don't know. So we're going to talk about this some more coming up on the other side. Also, the Minnesota Timberwolves shellacked the Denver Nuggets last night. And
40 burger.
The defending champs are now got a game 7 to defend the title. I don't believe in momentum from game to game, but this was a big, big confidence boost for the Timberwolves, so we'll dive into that. Some other stuff, who knows? But Scottie Scheffler got arrested this morning, and I don't know what else there is to talk about, so that's going to be coming up in just a bit. But before we get to all that, I do want to tell you about my good friends at DeBella. That's right. Oregon's home improvement experts. They specialize in roofing, siding, windows, and renovations. It has been a beautiful time of year, and it's time maybe to take care of some projects around your home. And maybe you've tried to do it yourself and realized this is too big of a project for me. I need to call in the pros. Well, DeBella is who you need to be calling. 15,000 five-star reviews on Google, and their financing promotion of no payments until 2025 on approved credit. DeBella is going to come to you, schedule an appointment that works on your time, on your schedule, and is 100% absolutely free. So connect with DeBella today for your roofing, siding, windows, and bath projects. DeBella, Oregon's home improvement expert. I am still having a hard time believing like this is going on in the sports world.
Right there with you, my
That
man.
the number one golfer in the world, who is famously unfamous, more on that in a moment, but who is famously unfamous, famously milquetoast, right? He is boring AF.
At least call it like a Subway Veggie Deluxe, man.
Scottie Scheffler, like Veggie Deluxe might have like you could put some spice on there or something. He is milk toast.
That's pretty good.
He is Mike Riley boring.
Fair.
Famous, like, again, this is not, I hate to bring this up, but let's be honest, like Tiger Woods has had some incidents with cars. You know what I mean?
That he has.
Thanksgiving incident where he ran into a tree after a fight with his wife. There was the, where he was on Ambien. He was going to the airport because he completely out, didn't know where he was going. Then there was the car wreck that nearly killed him and nearly lost his, like, Tiger Woods detained with a traffic incident. We'd be like,
that
right.
shoe fits.
I need to hear more, but I'd be like, I can believe it.
Tiger Woods and cars don't mix.
Or if it was, because we were talking about it this morning, like what athlete at the level of Scottie Scheffler would have not been like, how far down do you have to go? He's the number one golfer in the world, right? The number one basketball player in the world, Nikola Jokic, if he was driving to, even in Minnesota, right? If Jokic was driving in Minnesota, gets pulled up, somebody's going to recognize him. Somebody is going to recognize Patrick Mahomes. Like, they're going to know who Patrick Mahomes is, who's the number one football player. Baseball? Oh, could get interesting.
I would think people would recognize Mike Trout because they go, look, that guy's on the box of the pretzels. Like, you see Mike Trout in the grocery store, right?
Is Mike Trout the best baseball player? I mean, it's Shohei, right?
Yeah. I mean, I still think Mike Trout is the most widely known name to like Joe Casual, right? Because he's been around for, 10 years. Maybe not.
I maybe an argument for a different day. Or not an argument, maybe a fun discussion for a different day.
I don't know for sure. I just thought Ohtani could be there, but I'm asking like if you were to ask
in Louisville, Kentucky.
Well, let's not go down that rabbit hole. But no, I agree, Justin. I think but what if it was like an average? Like, what if it was like this will be fun because what if it was like Pat Beverly?
Yeah.
Like if it's Patrick Beverly, right? Like going into an NBA game.
But see, that's why this is kind of nuts. Xander Schauffele is leading the tournament. If you are not a golf fan, you don't know who Xander Schauffele is. You don't know who he is. He's a very good golfer. I know who he is because I love golf. But if you are not a golf fan, you don't know who that guy is. Never mind that he shot, 62 yesterday, and nearly a record-breaking first round. But you wouldn't know who he is. That's where this story gets crazier and crazier, is if that was Tiger Woods, or I think maybe it like Louisville Metro PD cop. Tiger Woods is the only one this guy knows, right? I don't want to, again, paint with a broad brush, and I don't want to be stereotypical. Unless you are a golf fan.
You don't know anybody but that.
Tiger, maybe Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson is kind of in the pop culture zeitgeist, right?
In a town of, like Justin said, more than 500,000 people.
So, because I think about this, it's like they didn't recognize who Scottie Scheffler was. What would have happened if he would have been, I'm the number one player in the world, I'm trying to go. Like, if he did the, do you know who I am? Would it have helped? Would he?
I think so, but that's a superiority complex for me where it's like, before they may have still been like, and that's great, and we don't care. But I probably would have been.
Who's the reporter in the car?
That was Jeff Darlington.
So Jeff Darlington was.
He just happened to be there.
No, I think Jeff Darlington was with him in the car because I think Jeff Darlington, because that's what ESPN does. They'll pair a reporter up with a top level golfer, and he's with him the whole tournament. That's why I think Darlington was there. I could have that wrong. I might have that one wrong. I might be speaking completely out of my backside.
But no, if it was me, Justin, not in like a, I'm not going to be, and I'm smart enough
Jeff
to know.
Darlington seemed to know an awful lot of details about how he drove and kept the window up.
Right.
And then the window. I think Jeff Darlington was in the car.
He may have been, and that's the thing, like with this, is I wouldn't be outwardly disrespectful to a police officer because, that can end you up in this situation. But if it was me, Justin, as they were like, okay, we're going to arrest you or whatever, I would have been like, guys, I'm Scottie Scheffler. I'm the best golfer in the world. Are you sure you want to do this? And, then I would have taken I wouldn't have fought it or anything else.
Now,
but I probably would have said that, Justin.
Probably would.
Would you?
I definitely would have said something like,
come on.
I don't know. I've never been that famous though.
I've also never been arrested, so that helps. I don't know what this situation is.
But knock on wood.
I've never had that happen
I've never
to me.
felt the cold steel of the handcuffs around my wrists. A
Don't
couple
need
of
that
times
off
I
my bucket
probably should have. But managed to slide by. But I've never been in a position where if I said, "Do you know who I am?" it would have ever have worked. Right? I've never been you a fan of, I don't know, mid-market sports talk radio? Because if you are, boy, you are going to be embarrassed.
You should, like, you're around here, go, do you know who I am?
Yeah. Never
6 to
done
9
that.
a.m., baby.
But if there was ever a person in Louisville, Kentucky, to be able to, who's not named Tiger Woods, to be able to drop the "Do you know who I am?" Scottie Scheffler would definitely be that guy. But this is where it gets nuts. Because like I said, part of the reason why I think it got to the level it got to, and I am just thinking out loud here. I don't have any information. So if I've got it wrong, and if you are a law enforcement officer and you're like, "No, Justin, this is protocol. This is how it had to happen." Hey, tweet at me. I'm all for it. But I feel like if Scottie Scheffler was more famous, I don't know if it gets to this point. I think one of the reasons why the world number one golfer actually ended up in handcuffs and a jumpsuit and a mugshot was obviously the traffic stuff, but the fact that he is famously unfamous. What do you know about Scottie Scheffler that it's not golf?
Nothing.
What clubs does he hit?
I'm
now,
not
if you're
sure.
a golf nerd, you probably know all this stuff.
fair.
But you're an average Joe sports fan.
Yep.
You're
I
a
follow
producer
golf.
of a fairly successful morning show here in the Portland metro area with with kind of a golf obsessed host. But
some say I hitch my wagon to a shooting star.
What does Scottie Scheffler do? Commercials? No, he doesn't do commercials. He doesn't do a lot of interviews. He doesn't
He's not a real rah guy. He's not looking for a mic and trying to give you a soundbite kind of a thing.
He is the best golfer since Tiger Woods, in my personal opinion, with what he has been able to do. Yet, Tiger Woods was celebrity famous, right? Celebrity famous. And part of that was because of the time. Part of that was because Tiger Woods Tiger Woods has got charisma and moxie. Scottie Scheffler hits golf balls better than everybody with zero charisma and zero moxie. And I say that because I think if he was more famous, I don't know if we get to the point where mugshots are being taken. I think somebody steps in and was like, "Guys, we can't do this. This is clearly a misunderstanding." But it got to that point. So, because we do what we do on this show, Brenden and I had this conversation. How far down would you have to go? And we're going to start with football. Because clearly, when Jeff Darlington was recording, and that video is it's everywhere, he was so close to telling the cop, "Do you know who that guy is?" Didn't. Credit to Darlington for the pause, because I would have been like, "Do you know who that is?"
As a reporter, probably me too.
Do you know what you're doing right now? But I think Jeff Darlington was smart. He's like, "Dude, I've got the footage of all." newsman kicked in. But it was clear one of the reasons why it got to that level is because Scottie Scheffler is not recognizable. On a golf course, in a tournament, on TV, sure. Would you Brenden, do you think you would recognize Scottie Scheffler if you walked by him at an airport?
Yes, and it's only because I do, I follow the majors. Yes,
but
I think I would.
You might double take, though.
Yes, I would.
It wouldn't be like, hey.
Not to mention, I just checked out it again, the police officers were not very happy Jeff Darlington was following and videoing that. They had a couple vulgar words for him.
I don't think they knew exactly what this was either.
Yeah, no, they had no idea.
I don't think they were prepared for the fact that they were arresting the number one golfer in the world who happened to have an ESPN report. Like, this video of you saying he's going to jail now, you realize that's going everywhere. I think, again, my opinion, I think that cop thought, oh, this video is going to go up on Twitter. Big whoop. It's like, no, that's going to ESPN. You're going to be on Get Up this morning. I don't know if you watch Get Up, sir, but Stephen A. Smith's going to be yelling about you in about an hour and a half. So, now that he's been processed, booked, released, will make his tee time, is going to play the second round. In football, who would be the football player who is playing at a high level, who in, let's just say, a visiting city, not their own city, a visiting city? Because if this was Dallas, Texas, I think they would know who Scottie Scheffler was, right? He's from Dallas.
Right. And
this was near a country club in Dallas. They'd be like, Scottie.
Right.
Dude, you got to just, when I say stop, you got to stop.
And I got to throw out, too, Justin, I just watched the audio again. I got to shout out Jeff Darlington for keeping his cool, because when the cop is literally pushing him back, saying, at that point, I'd kind of be like, he kept his absolute professionalism.
Well, because I think Jeff Darlington knew this video's going everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
And I can't be heard in the background going like, hey, I'm ESPN.
I would have muttered an expletive under my breath, man. Like, I would have been so... When he's like, you can't do anything. He's going to jail. He's going to jail. I'm like, And
he's just like, this video's going everywhere. Like I said, there he is right there. Told you, you're going to be on Get Up. And I'm looking at it right now.
To be super famous this morning.
You're not just going to be on Facebook, right? Where a lot of... You're gonna be on ESPN. You're gonna be on like every airport in America. You're on right now at some sports bar in America. So, like I said, if that was like the football equivalent of Scottie Scheffler right now is Patrick Mahomes, right? That's the football equivalent is Patrick Mahomes. Everybody now again, NFL, golf, very different.
Yes,
Patrick Mahomes, any place in America gets pulled over, whatever. They're like, they know, like somebody around would be like, dude, that's Patrick Mahomes. Like, so who would be the most famous name, but not famous enough to be recognized? I said Brock Purdy.
Probably.
I think Brock Purdy would be like, if Brock Purdy was, in Phoenix, right? Brock Purdy and his boys go down to Scottsdale, like, traffic incident, told to stop, didn't stop, gets pulled out. Like, I don't think anybody's like, oh, that's Brock Purdy. He was just in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Like,
pick another state. He did grow up in Arizona. So, yeah. Right. Pick another state, Justin. Close. I get what you're getting at, but I'm like, yeah, he grew up there. I know what you mean. He's
in South Carolina. Like, him and the boys go to Myrtle Beach for a golf trip or whatever. And it's like, I don't know if he would have been recognizable. But that's like basketball. Top 10 players in the world, like all because just size and stature.
Would Luka be recognized everywhere outside of Dallas? At 6'6"?
He's still pretty big. You know this because you've been like, we watched the basketball on TV. I sound like such a man. When we watched the basketball. When we watch basketball on TV, everything kind of evens out and it feels relative. Like, Dame looks like a normal-sized dude on TV. I've stood next to Dame. He's tall. He's a tall dude. You and your buddies, he comes walking, like, that guy's tall. It's like, he's a normal-sized looking dude on TV.
He looked really tall when he came into Five Guys that one time. Dude, Dame could crush some Five Guys.
Could you? You were working Five Guys
I
when
was,
Dame came in?
Yeah, I got the picture to prove it.
Why would you lie about that?
Yeah,
That
I
would
had the
be
picture.
a weird
Yeah,
thing to lie about. But
he came in twice, actually, when I was working there. Just kind of
what was that? What was the buzz like? That had to be fun.
Very, he was smart, right? So Dame would come in 10 minutes before we closed. Nobody in there to go. And I remember he'd call, be like, put it under a different name. It wasn't Damien. It was his wife or, girlfriend at the time or friend or whatever. But I remember to this day, it was me and my buddy and our manager there. And it's I was working the front. He was working the back. And I go back. I go, dude, that's Dame. Dame's walking in. So, yeah, all that to say, he looks a lot bigger in person. Totally.
Because he's what, 6'2"?
2.
Yeah. You go to your office or, you go to the bar today. You see somebody at 6'2", you're like, dude, that guy's tall.
It's true. That's true.
Luka's 6'7". He's 6. How many 6'7" people you see in the world? You just
very
don't
little. That's
outside
true.
of basketball. So I think Luka would be.
So, okay, the best point guard, let's think here. Okay. Would anybody recognize, trying to think, Derek White, point guard for the Boston Celtics?
Probably not. But, this is going to sound bad, but I don't mean this bad. If you saw Derek White in and around a basketball arena, because Scottie Scheffler was arrested
outside the golf course,
50 feet from the golf course. If you saw Derek White outside of a basketball arena, you would probably safe to assume, I think that guy's a basketball player.
And I don't want Derek White to catch my strays. I just try to think of the most best player on
but that's why this was not
But look at him handle it like a champ, Justin. He's nothing would ever happen.
So now, Scottie Scheffler is on the range right now, and boy, there is a lot more media on the range than maybe there was. How's he swinging it?
For him, dude, just I would be I'm going to go in the clubhouse, have about a shot of bourbon now after my morning. But Scottie just goes right. I mean, that's a professional right there, Justin. That's why he's the best.
This whole thing is nuts because, again, I could also see, I do want to throw this out because we're having fun with this, and I can see the side of Louisville PD, which was tragic accident just happened. We have a potential crime scene. Somebody just drove right through my crime scene. Don't know who you
I get
are.
That.
I pass, no pass, whatever. But then, on the other hand, if you're Scottie Scheffler and, Brenden and I have been there. If any of you have ever had a parking pass to an event or something where you're like, all right, you are neon vest cop guy. You're going to see my pass and I'm going to go right past, as I have done thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times at every golf tournament I've ever been at. Scottie Scheffler, right? Thousands of times I just drive right past. No, I have a pass. They know the courtesy car, the tournament gives them the cars. So usually, but this was not your normal neon vest traffic cop. This was Louisville Metro securing a crime scene. And now we'll find out later. Maybe there's body cam. Maybe there's more footage. We'll find out.
It all gets released.
We're going to find out. But I would assume at some point, cooler heads could have prevailed and been like, hey, I gave you a directive to stop. I didn't know. I clearly did not know this was a crime scene. I clearly thought, didn't intend to break the law, didn't intend to try to run you down. Let's take a breath. But
I mean, credit to Scottie.
But maybe there's a past a point of no return where you just can't.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Scottie, Justin. I'll say this. I mean this kind of tongue in cheek, but for something this silly, because on its merits, I think ultimately everything, like you said, everything you said true. But what happened to him ultimately silly. Justin, I would have probably pulled a Walter White against the cop when he gets arrested and freaks out and is pulled over for the broken windshield, and he's just like, really? You're sometimes people can lose their cool. And I credit Scottie for not being, fighting, because, yeah, Justin, you're like, I'm supposed to golf right now, and you're arresting me.
I know. I'm going
he
to
kept
work.
his cool.
This is one of the craziest stories I can remember in a long, long time. All right. Speaking of crazy, the Minnesota Timberwolves went crazy last night as they hammered the Denver Nuggets. They force a Game 7. We got a Game 7. We got more basketball to discuss. We have Round Ball Rock next, 620 Rip City Radio. All right, we'll get back to talking about golf. Kinda. I mean, is anybody going to be talking about the tournament today? I am very curious to see how Scottie Scheffler plays today. Is he going to be rattled? Is he going to be thrown off his game? Is he going to be super ticked off? And
Watch him
maybe
just dominate.
Just
Jordan flu game and be like, oh, you think you could take me out?
Xander Schauffele and Rory McIlroy is like, guys, why'd you have to go ahead and tick him off? Anyways.
My question for you, Justin, and we'll maybe circle back to this, is how do you think all the people who had thousands of dollars on Scottie Scheffler felt this morning when they saw,
And here's the thing, and we could do a much, much deeper dive. Look, I dabble in sports betting. I bet a few bucks here, a few bucks there. But the fact that, like, sports betting is becoming more and more normalized, and, like, people are not understanding that, you know what, when you gamble, gamble is a definitive term. It means you might lose. It might mean that the golfer you bet on got arrested Friday morning. And, like, the amount of people that get like, oh, I should get a refund. It's like, dude, no. It's a gamble.
Dude, no.
But you know what I mean? Like,
it's the way you said that.
There are a lot of people, like, after remember when Aaron Rodgers blew out his Achilles tendon? And there were, like, people like, I had Aaron Rodgers over what I was like, that should be refunded. It's like, no, it shouldn't. Dude, you gambled.
It's a gamble for a reason, right?
But it's like, there's this idea, there's this notion that gambling, because now it is legal and now it is above board, that it is all, like, clean and perfect. It's like, no, it's still dirty and grimy. Because sometimes somebody gets hurt, and sometimes you're over, like, hey, they didn't put on the report that he had the flu and he was questionable and he's not going to play. Like, I should be refunded. It's like, no, you put the money up. Anyways, so more on that story as it develops.
There will be more this morning, I'm sure.
I guess, like, Jeff Darlington was just on Get Up, and after they put him in the car and told him step back, then I think one police officer realized, why does this guy have media following him? And came up to him and was like, all right, who was that? Like, Jeff Darlington just told Get Up. It was like, yeah, they came to me like 30 seconds later going like, who did we just arrest?
Ay.
So,
America's finest.
Scheffler's teeing off. Or not teeing off. He's warming up. He's on the range.
I bet you Scottie Scheffler in his head's right now. I was like, I didn't have that on my bingo card this morning.
Man. So,
I mean, yeah, that's a story. It'd be a fun story to tell, man, as long as he, gets the felony stripped off his record. I mean, good Lord.
There's got to be body cam footage, right? I don't know, but they're all those cops because it's raining. That was the other thing. The perfect storm that had to happen to create this. Brenden, all the Louisville PD officers were wearing bright yellow, reflective, because they're in traffic, rain jackets because it's raining. Well, guess what those look like? Event staff.
They do.
It looks like event staff.
They do.
It doesn't look like, if you're a golfer, like, oh, there's 4 cops telling me to stop. No, it's a Johnny Windbreaker event staff guy telling me to stop. I'm going to pull into, and so that was the other part of it. Anyways, we have a handful of minutes. There was a blowout in the NBA last night. There are games coming up on the weekend. Let's dive in to Round Ball Rock. Here we go. Thought the biggest story in sports was going to be, as I went to bed, that the Timberwolves absolutely crushed the Denver Nuggets, 115-70. Like I said, in an elimination game, second biggest margin of victory in a team facing the brink of elimination in NBA history. Massive, massive showing from the Minnesota Timberwolves, who now have a Game 7 against the Denver Nuggets. Now, I will also say this. I do not believe in momentum from one game to the next. How do I know that? I just watched Game 6. The Timberwolves had no momentum. The Timberwolves had just given up 3 losses in a row. They had absolutely no momentum in this series. Yet they came out and dropped a 45-point margin of victory. So to think that now they've got all the momentum heading into game, no, they don't. Those are still the Nuggets. They're still the defending champs. And
I'll say this though, Justin, when I saw this score, because my brother and I were doing some other stuff last night and watching different games, and all of a sudden he pulled up his phone. He goes, "Look," and I kid you not, Justin, Urban Meyer would have been proud. Remember that clip after Oregon had beat Florida State, and that clip where he goes, "Oregon won by 40." Like that was me last night. Where I'm like, Minnesota won by 40. I mean,
they were at one point. They were at one point in the game up 50.
Yeah, it's the biggest blowout of the postseason.
Now,
but I agree with you. Yeah.
Kind of a smart move though by the Denver Nuggets, right? If you're the Denver Nuggets, you're like, you knew by halftime you're not winning this game. Like, it's just not your night. They're hot. You're not.
It was 31-14 in the first. So yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. And what did they score? What did the Nuggets have? I had it right up here.
Yeah, it was, let's see, 14.
They scored 14 points in the first quarter.
Yep.
Like, you do that, you're like, all right, we're not winning tonight.
Just wasn't their night.
Shut it down. Jokic played 36 minutes, but like Aaron Gordon played 28 minutes, and Jamal Murray played 33 minutes. So that's a 8-minute game time swing.
My question for you, Justin.
So now they're going to have all gas in the tank at home.
Yeah.
Focus on Game 7.
Will we see 2 Game 7s on Sunday? We already have the Wolves and Nuggets.
I think so.
Do the Pacers-Knicks push 7?
Also, will the Oklahoma City Thunder stay alive? Remember, the Thunder have not been eliminated yet. It feels like it because they're down 3-2.
Yeah, they're
going to Dallas.
Yeah, they're the lone game on Saturday. So if that pushes to 7, I think that Game 7 would be like Monday. But yeah, I mean,
could we get 3 Game 7s?
Yes.
If I were to guess, if I were to predict, I think Indiana wins in Indianapolis. I don't think Oklahoma City goes to Dallas and beats the Mavericks. Doesn't feel like they've got that in their bag. But Luka keeps coming up with these mystery injuries every single, right? It's ankle soreness, it's knee soreness, it's shoulder soreness. And again, I don't know how much of that is just messing around with the injury report or how much of that is just Luka's kind of a little bit banged up. But I think Indiana and New York goes to Game 7. I think Dallas closes it out tomorrow night. All right, coming up, we've got a full second hour. More on the developing story with Scottie Scheffler. We've got a make or miss. We got a hot take Friday. Jam-packed hour number 2 next, 620 Rip City Radio. It is 7 a.m. on a Friday morning. Justin Myers with you. NBA playoffs last night, just one game, but it was a doozy, at least for the Minnesota Timberwolves, as they blew out the Denver Nuggets 115-70. Yeah, you heard me correctly, 115-70, setting up a winner-take-all Game 7 in Denver. Anthony Edwards led the way for the Timberwolves with 27 points. Might have been the biggest story in sports as we all went to bed, but in what appears to be a bizarre misunderstanding, Scottie Scheffler was detained, then arrested by local Louisville PD as he attempted to enter Valhalla Country Club to start his second round on Friday morning. He has been charged with 1 felony and 3 misdemeanors. More on that coming up in a bit. And in hour number 3, friend of the program, Aaron Fentress from the Oregonian, is going to be joining us. But hour number 2 of Rip City Mornings on a bizarre but fancy coffee still Friday starts right now on 620 Rip City Radio. And welcome back to Rip City Mornings, everybody. Coming up in approximately 20 minutes, we have got a make or miss. It is a hot take Friday. And as I mentioned in the update, Aaron Fentress is going to be joining the show. If you are just joining the show, if you have just woken up, if you did not look at your phone or TV or anything before you listen to this program, you might be wondering, like, wait. What is Justin talking about? Did he get duped on Twitter again? Because I have been duped on Twitter. Is he really out there saying that Scottie Scheffler has been arrested and charged second-degree assault of a police officer? That's a felony. Criminal mischief. Disregarding traffic. They were just up on TV and then they left. But 3 misdemeanors, 1 felony.
Yeah, the misdemeanors are what they are, but Justin, felony's serious business. You know this.
Well, now, here's the thing. Scottie Scheffler's released a statement. It was pretty much, I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to be careful.
Very vanilla.
Sorry for the misunderstanding. Well, to compliment Scottie Scheffler's statement, Brenden, his attorney has weighed in. Which, by the way, statement from Scottie Scheffler's Louisville attorney.
He hired one that fast?
Real fast.
Woke that guy up out of bed.
Real fast.
Guarantee he got a call and got out of bed.
Did it, like, I'm sure it was his agent who went, like, highest powered, priced attorney in Louisville. Get him on the phone.
I imagine it was a little like...
Because how do you just have an attorney just sitting there? How do you just have a Louisville attorney just sitting there?
Well, I mean, if we believe the awesome series, Justin, apparently, OJ just called Robert Shapiro at lunch. So
yeah, but Robert Shapiro, OJ was from L.A. Robert Shapiro was a famous
That's true. That's
attorney
true.
for the stars, right?
That's true.
He was the celebrity fixer. He was used to fixing like Johnny Carson got a DUI one time.
Yeah.
And it was like, Robert Shapiro can fix that. OJ, double murder? What? A little bit above my pay grade, but he didn't say that.
For sure. But yeah, no, like...
But it's just out of nowhere, Scottie Scheffler just got an attorney in Louisville. That was very, very...
I bet you it was literally Google best agent or best lawyer in Louisville.
His agent, as soon as he got the call, or whoever, or his manager, or whomever it was on Team Scheffler, because, boy, did he...
Steve Romanus.
Yes.
That's who they pulled out of whatever Louisville breakfast spot he was in this morning.
Now, again, Scottie Scheffler, pretty vanilla, have to release a statement. Here we go. Now, lawyer weighs in. This is where it's going to get interesting because does the same thing of I didn't know where he was being directed. It was a chaotic situation. This is according to Scottie Scheffler's lawyer. Multiple eyewitnesses have confirmed that he did not do anything wrong, but was simply proceeding as directed. He stopped immediately upon being directed to and never at any point assaulted any officer with his vehicle. We will litigate this matter as needed, and he will be completely exonerated. So there's that. Boy, I'm sure Chief of Police in Louisville was probably already up because there was sadly a traffic fatality, which is what caused this whole mess to begin with, around a very massive public event that's going on in your city. But I can only imagine what Louisville Chief of Police was thinking when he got that phone call. Hey, Chief. We got something. He's like, yeah, I know. Traffic accident. It's very, very sad. We're going to be able to. It's like, no. There's another wrinkle to this. We arrested someone. Okay, well, he's a golfer. Yeah, but like, is he like well known? Yeah, number one in the world. That's who we arrested. He's in custody right now. He's at, and Louisville Chief of Police is probably like, all right, I'm gonna get a phone call. Might get a phone call from the mayor. Might get a phone call from the head of Valhalla. Like this whole thing is nuts. It's crazy.
I'm curious.
This whole thing
Justin,
is crazy.
How because we joke, if this means basically the town of Augusta is built around the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say this happened in Augusta, I don't think it would have ever happened because I think Augusta would have been like, we own the police, yada yada, like all that. Is Valhalla, and I'm asking you, Jim, because you told me earlier you've been to Louisville. Louisville's obviously a town of 600,000 people. Yeah. Does Valhalla not quite have the pull or because I guarantee you, the president or whatever the top of Valhalla is nowhere close to the top of the president of the Masters.
Yeah. It's
right?
not like this is like it's not even apples and oranges. It's apples and bananas.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I figured.
Because the apples and oranges are kind of the same shape, but this is like apples and bananas. Like, yeah, this is
fair.
It's a major metropolitan area.
Well, and you told me,
whereas like Augusta is it's a small town,
right?
And I've never been. And again, I've been to Louisville.
Yeah.
Was there at a wedding in July. Very hot.
Yeah.
But beautiful.
Beautiful
wedding. I was actually in Lexington for the wedding. But
a couple years ago, right? I think we were doing the show together, right?
No.
Oh, it was before we.
It was pre-COVID.
Okay, got you. I knew you went to a bunch of weddings.
I've been to
You've been
my
to
fair
a
share.
few.
I love weddings. They're the best.
They're great.
But
you told me you think if this was, or rather you think big picture, this could cost Valhalla.
I don't think it's going to. I think because I'm speaking without knowledge here, which welcome to the show, everybody. I have a hunch that the members of Valhalla Country Club might be a who's who in and around the Louisville area.
Sure.
And I think maybe they have maybe a line to the chief of police or at least the mayor's office or you know what I mean?
Yeah. A line to the mayor's. I love it.
Because this is embarrassing. It's like for all parties involved, like
really bad.
Because
we're all talking about it, Justin. It is national news.
Well, and because Scottie Scheffler is boring. Scottie Scheffler is like the most boring, non-controversial superstar athlete, like of all time. Think about this. Jokic is the best player in the NBA. He's not controversial, but like there's probably some haters out there. Do you know what I mean? With Jokic, there's probably some like I don't like that guy. Clearly there's Patrick Mahomes haters. Like they exist. You respect, yeah. Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback of all time. A lot of haters. Even in Tiger Woods' prime, there was a lot of Tiger Woods haters.
Oh yeah.
Brenden, there's no Scottie Scheffler haters.
Well,
he doesn't have any.
You can't be hated if nobody knows who you are.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But he's that good. Like, who else in sports has ever been that good without somebody just being like, I hate that guy? Do you know what I mean? Even like Shohei Ohtani.
Probably Mike Trout.
No, I bet you there's still probably some people who are just like,
probably,
nah, I don't like that guy.
He's probably closest though, right? Because I like just think about it. Like, how many people like would have an opinion over Mike Trout who has never hurt their team in the postseason, right? Angels fans probably don't like.
But there's also, again,
like, you know what I'm getting at a little bit?
Yeah,
like,
but you got to get into the deep, deep recesses of sports hatred and get like, I'm tired of everybody talking about him. Do something in the postseason.
Sure, that's true.
He's so overrated. Scottie Scheffler's clearly not overrated. He's winning tournaments. He famously has like no haters. No. Who is a critic of this guy? And that's the guy that gets arrested. That's kind of embarrassing.
Right. We love to. There's always two sides.
I can't be the only one who looked at my phone this morning and was like, "This is a prank."
You're not. You're not. I'll say that.
Any other golfer on tour, even look, I love Rory McIlroy. If it was Rory McIlroy, you're like, dude, he just got divorced. Maybe there's something like Scottie Scheffler, like that guy.
There's just no comparison. Like, Justin and I have been racking our brains for an hour now, and it's like there's nobody in the NBA, like no one who you're like, yeah, even top 10. We could even expand and go top 10 players in the NBA. Nope. Go to the NFL. Top 10. I mean, maybe you'd get somebody who wouldn't know who, like, Jared Goff is, right? But that's getting out of the top, but you know what I mean?
Like I said, I think Brock Purdy's the only one, but even he's getting more and more famous. He was in the Super Bowl last year, for crying out loud. And again,
tough,
also, I think Brock Purdy is great. Is Brock Purdy a top 10 player? Like,
no, gosh, no. I mean, he's good.
I think he will be eventually. I'm on the Purdy train. I'm invested early, but yeah, like Josh Allen. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody would know. Hey, dude, that's that's Josh Allen.
Yeah, like Justin said.
I went to a Blazer game a month and a half ago. Got some really nice seats. I didn't pay for them. Got very lucky. C.J. Stroud was there. I saw Now, again, I love college football. I watched a lot of college football. C.J. Stroud was a prominent figure, but C.J. Stroud's not like but I was like, me and my friend were sitting, and at halftime, like, dude, that's C.J. Stroud. Like, you just recognize him.
I think height, and that's the thing. Scottie Scheffler's what, 6'2"? He's not super big, right?
And he's a golfer.
I think
he's got a golfer but again,
yeah,
this is 50 feet from the golf course,
right?
Nobody thought, hey, he's wearing a golf. Like, now here's the other problem, and we'll wrap it up on this. Maybe here's the other problem. Brenden, golf fans dress like golfers. If you don't know. Right? Basketball fans don't dress like basketball players. You go to a golf tournament.
They can't afford it.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're a golf fan, you could dress like Scottie Scheffler. It's like, I got a Nike polo on. I got some nice shorts. It's like, I might dress like that on a normal day. All right. Make or miss coming up next, 620 Rip City Radio. All right, 1 hour from now, Aaron Fentress is going to join the show. Get his thoughts on the Blazers with 2 first-round picks. Are they going to move on from the number 14 pick? Will they be making 2 selections? Is there some power forward in Serbia that maybe we've never heard of that may potentially be the difference in the Blazers organization? And also get some thoughts on the NFL schedule and whatever else Fentress gets us fired up about. So excited to talk to Fentress coming up in the 3rd hour of the show. We got a Hot Take Friday coming up in approximately 20 minutes. But right now, let's dive into Make or Miss.
All right, firing up Make or Miss here, Justin. Let's take a step back to one of the bigger stories this week. The Pac-12 should have found a CW option years ago, or something equivalent.
Yeah, 100% Make.
Produce, because they will Pac-12 network. The network I learned will shutter its doors. The signal will go blank June 30th.
All right,
but
do we obviously on June 30th?
R.I.P.
We bid a fond farewell, Sarah McLachlan style.
Yep, we will. Absolutely.
Let's start planning the celebration of life.
Yes.
Yes.
But again, then the network will still exist to basically email their signal to somebody else and have them.
So it won't be a channel, but they'll still have all the satellites and the cameras.
And I would assume still the same play-by-play people, Justin. So at least some. I mean, there will be some. I mean, I don't think that there will be, TV hosts and studio hosts for 2 teams, right? Like, it will change, but I'd be surprised if, there weren't a lot of similarities and it looks like the same logo and same, maybe, who knows, maybe Roxy Bernstein and, who knows, right? Maybe Nick Aliotti.
This has been one of the Pac-12's biggest problems is its own hubris mixed with inferiority complex. That's a tough combination, but it actually happened, right? I thought about this the other day. It was hubris thinking that you can run your own TV network and don't need the help of ESPN. Meanwhile, the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC are all getting their signals boosted everywhere because they were just like, ESPN, would you like to run this for us, please, and just cut us a check? They went ESPN, their mailbox money, right? Whereas, the Pac-12 went house flipping. All right, I live in a world of real estate, all right? Or at least I'm thinking, I own a home, the market, all that stuff, and I watch a lot of HGTV. They also featured DeBella. Little free shout out there. But ESPN was like, yeah, we'll run it all. And I don't know if you noticed, Bristol, we got a lot of satellites. And you know what cable package we're on? All of them. Every single one. Every single one. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the Pac-12 was like, no, we're going to build our own. It's like, and ESPN was like, are you sure? Because we're really good at doing this. We do it every single day. No. We're do-it-yourselfers around here. So that was the hubris. Then there was the inferiority complex because it had to keep up with the Big Ten and had to keep up with the Joneses, shall we say, and couldn't go in humbled hat in hand. And the other inferiority complex was, and getting to your original question, Brenden, what is it going to look like if the Pac-12 would have made a CW deal, right? CW is already getting jokes because of Liv. And
they will have ACC and Pac-2 football this year, though. So
and if you would have gotten in early, yeah, okay, you might have taken some jokes on Twitter. You might have taken some pot shots from goofballs like me, going well, they're on the CW.
I mean, it's fair.
It's Gilmore girls first, then Pac-12 football. Yeah, but you'd have been on how many TVs? And you have a good game. Guess what? Nobody cares what channel it's on. right? Have you ever had a great college football game, but you were just like, you know what? I don't like CBS Sports Network. Never.
Well,
Nobody cares what it's on. It's just that it's on.
Right. And I was talking about this yesterday when I jumped on the Joe Beaver show down in Corvallis just to talk a little bit about this deal. And I said, you have to look at it two ways, right? Long term, Justin, is this the option? No, you're not getting millions of dollars in TV revenue at this moment. To quote Justin's favorite line in Moneyball.
What is my favorite line in Moneyball?
If there's a ball that rolls to first base, there's no one there to ground it. It just keeps on rolling.
That's true.
Justin, there's right now, men's and women's basketball and baseball do not have TV for next year as it currently stands.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm sure it's in the works. I don't want to scare anybody, but just that's not there right now. So it's as of right now, men's basketball is not on TV. Okay, so you take that and then you strike it against what Justin just said. Access and availability. Justin, I know Beaver fans who live in areas where their only option was DirecTV, maybe Dish, depending on where it was, and just acquiesce to the fact of I got to pay for a streaming service on top of that, right, when football season comes around, or any number of things. You know this, Justin, because Pac-12 Network, not on the basic Comcast tier, it's been hard to find for 12 years. And I borrowed a phrase from you yesterday, Justin. I think it was a roaring hit on the radio.
Did you? Did you give me credit? Did Mike Parker just say, "Hey, that must have been a"?
Mike was down in Arizona, so I was on with the backup crew, but it was still solid. But no, I was ultimately, I just think if right now you walk into a sports bar. Yeah. What are your odds of finding Pac-12 Network? It's not 10 out of 10.
No, because this is what the doofuses at the Pac-12 years and years and years never realized. Because they don't go to sports bars. Because they're all snooty and they get butler service at the top of the aria instead of going to everyman sports bars like your boy goes to. But if you know anything about sports bars, now it's different now, but for the past 25 years, if you are a sports bar, what do you have to have?
Sports.
But the most important sport.
Your local ones.
More important than that, you have to have Sunday ticket. You have to have NFL Sunday ticket. You are not making any money as a sports bar on a Sunday morning if you do not have NFL Sunday ticket. Go to any sports bar on a Sunday in NFL season. It is full of fans, transplants, people in their fantasy leagues. It's the best. It's also the best on the West Coast because we get brunch. But to be able to have a bona fide sports bar, you have to have Sunday ticket. You don't have to have the NBA package. You don't have to have the MLB package, but you better have the Sunday ticket. Or nobody's going to your sports bar. Guess what Sunday ticket was only available on for 25 years?
DirecTV.
So how could you possibly have a sports network that wasn't on a satellite company's channel list that every sports bar in the country essentially was required to have?
Right.
How did we miss that for all those years?
It is so ridiculous it lasted as long as it was. And I said, as I said this too, it's just Beaver fans and Washington State fans for that matter, Justin should be rejoicing that now you can do cable. I think you can get CW with rabbit ear style.
You can get CW everywhere.
Hulu,
it's
YouTube,
everywhere.
All of them. And same with CBS Sport. Every Beaver game is going to be more accessible this year than ever before. And I think while it's not the TV deal we all need to keep Oregon State above board, Justin, it's the TV deal that makes the fans happy. And I think that's the Blazers could learn something.
And getting back to the hubris part of this and the keeping up with the Joneses part of this, until 2022, is that when Texas and Oklahoma left? It was 2022. And then 2023. Or maybe it was 2021, Texas and Oklahoma left. 2022, USC and UCLA left. And then 2023, everything fell apart. So up until 2021, Brenden, you and I are pretty dialed into the college football world, wouldn't you say? Covered it professionally for nearly 20 years. Did you know before 2021 how much each school made in grant of rights? Was that number just in your purview? Because I didn't.
No, it wasn't.
Then guess what?
Now we all
The SEC snatched up Oklahoma and Texas. Then we learned USC and UCLA were making $75 million a year. And when the Big 12 came in with their, $31 million per school, that became the bar, the low bar. And then it was like, well, Apple TV, well, there's an incentive deal and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, we can't do anything below 30 because we can't be below the Big 12 because somehow, some way, it got into everybody's mind that if you made less in grant of rights, that meant less of your conference's prowess, shall we say, which was always dumb. Hubris, inferiority combined to ruin everything. Because, yeah, what if it has just been like, we may not be making the most, and, yeah, the CW is going to cost us a couple of jokes on Twitter because we're sandwiched, because Oregon, Colorado is sandwiched between Supernatural and Gilmore Girls? Sure. But we're going to be on every TV in America.
Yeah.
We're going to be super easy to find.
You might not want that again.
If that Oregon State-Utah game is a 7-point game going to the fourth quarter, everybody in America is be able to flip it on.
Yeah, I mean, again, is anybody, like, again, I look at the home games, like, for instance, the most marquee home game on the CW is probably, oh gosh, let me pull it up.
Because Civil War is on Fox, right?
Yes. I'm just curious what the most marquee game would.
It's got Boise, right? It's got to be Boise.
Boise's on the road.
Boise's on the road. All right.
Oh, Washington State. Probably the most.
Play the Cougs at home.
Which, that kind of tells the story where we are, but not this conversation right now.
Yeah.
I think the fact, Justin, that now, it was written, hey, just because they are doesn't mean people are going to watch. And I get that. But like Justin said, the fact that now people still love to channel surf. And the fact that now you can be in Dubuque, Kansas, and be like, this team out in, it's like, it could be like at the bump of like Maction on Tuesday nights, right? I mean,
but you're right, there is channel surfing, but then there's also cord cutters, right? And I'm learning this because I'm doing a little experiment with myself.
Yes, you are. I'm excited.
But even cord cutters have a basic, whether it's, is it Fubo?
Yes.
Fubo or YouTube TV or I think Sling, where you get essentially what used to be basic cable.
Hulu Live TV too. Same kind of thing, yeah.
Where you get essentially basic cable. CW's on all of them.
It is.
They're on all of them. Pac-12 Network was not on any of them.
Just Fubo. That's why I have it.
Yeah.
That's why I have it.
Yeah, it was not on YouTube TV. By the way, where did Sunday Ticket move to?
YouTube TV.
What does every sports bar in America now have to have?
YouTube TV.
Boom.
Which I don't think
you have to have it.
You have again. I look at a place like my local Buffalo Wild Wings here, Justin, that I would go to, semi-often for games, especially during like football season.
You love B-dubs, don't you?
Well, I haven't been in like probably 2 months, so it's been a minute. So,
but you love it though.
I do.
You talk about it with such love in your heart,
I
don't hate it. Are you worried about chain restaurants? You're like chain restaurants not doing well economically.
B-dubs is gonna.
You think B-dubs still hanging in there?
Yeah, it's the atmosphere. There's nowhere you can go watch a game like that on 60, 70 screens.
So Red Lobster's shuttering 48 restaurants.
Oh, yeah, they got to avoid BK, man. But we'll see. Actually, to be honest, Justin, I've said forever, I actually think Wingstop makes a superior wing.
Okay.
But they have no inside. You can't go sit, have a beer. Part of that's Buffalo. You don't go to Buffalo for the food.
Do you think what happened with the chain restaurants is like with COVID, a lot of people realized supporting local is a good thing, which we
very much
we are about, but also B, like I can just pick it up to go.
You can.
I would just rather pick it up or I can be lazy and I could DoorDash it, which DoorDash got their own. I saw a whole thing on DoorDash.
All the above.
They're kind of evil, the DoorDash people.
Tell me about that. But yeah, all the above, I think.
But it's like I could just why would I want to go? And again, I love Red Robin. I want to go to Applebee's and sit and maybe get put next to toddlers screaming everywhere. This is probably my own experience, but or if you're like a family that has kids, like we can just get it to go. Do we really want to just go to the Applebee's? Because Sarah's going to start throwing things, and then her brother is going to start let's just get it to go.
You're not a fan of little kids, are you, Justin?
In certain situations.
Yeah.
In certain situations.
It's okay. It's okay. I just watched a comedy special last night where it's like, it's okay if you don't like kids. It's not a crime, but yet people treat it like it's a crime.
Here's what I like about kids, from my perspective, is that I can give them back to their parents. When I get my fill and I'm like, all right, I've had enough now. I shall go do adult time.
Fair.
There is your dad.
But anyway, last point on this. But for example, last time I went to Buffalo was probably about a month and a half ago.
You go classic wing sauce, or do you go blazing?
Oh no. I'm like an Asian zing, spicy garlic. I mean, I've tried them all, but yeah, no. I'm not a purist.
I'm a live and let live guy, but I firmly I love buffalo wing sauce. I just love it.
I will
so much.
Yes, it's quality. I would still eat it if it was put in front of me.
Because we had those discussions. We've had those discussions. Like, there are people that I firmly believe eat things that they don't even really like, but because they feel like they're supposed. Medium rare steak, right? You're not a steak guy, so you don't understand this. I like my steak medium. I do. But God forbid you go to a steakhouse and order anything other than medium rare, because we've been told over and over and over. And by the way they cook it now, if you order it medium, you're getting it medium rare. Medium is the proper way to be ordering it anyways, because they purposely undercook it, because if they overcook a steak, then somebody's going to throw a fit, because we've been trained over and over and over again that overcooked steak is garbage, which
is it?
If it's overcooked, it's tough.
Okay.
But
fair.
I like my steaks medium. But you got to go medium rare. But it's like, you don't even like that. All right? You don't. You don't even like it. And sometimes I feel that way with dipping sauce, right? Nothing against blue cheese. I like ranch. And they're like, you got to go blue cheese. Like, no, I don't have to. I'm going ranch. Anyways, didn't ask for that.
But yeah, no. So back to that point, it was a month and a half ago or so, and my buddy and I are there, and Oregon State's playing baseball, Pac-12 Network. Right? I walk in, Justin, I don't see it anywhere.
No.
And
that is not surprising.
No, it's not. And I very kindly ask our nice server, I'm like, hey, can we turn on Pac-12 Network? And she kind of looks at me. She's like, yeah, I think we can do that.
I think that's the thing.
And then, Justin, this is funny because, me, I obviously know what time Oregon State plays and all those things. So the manager comes over and goes, flipping through his book, he's like, well, we've got Pac-12 Network, but the Beavers aren't playing right now. And I go, well,
they're on. Just put it on.
I'm like, I kind of know.
Trying not to trust me, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, I kind of know. And he goes, oh, okay. And then they're flipping through it. But again, a place like Buffalo Wild Wings in Tualatin, they are subscribed to Comcast to have Pac-12 Network. They are subscribed to DirecTV to have previously Sunday Ticket.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't need Pac-12 Network and the Blazers go off of Root, which is the last piece of this pie, and Blazers go to Root, go to streaming, whatever. Justin.
Snip.
People will get caught. Yeah, that Justin said it best, folks. Goodbye. Just get one streaming service, a bunch of Roku TVs. Done and done.
The way smart TVs are now, it's so easy.
Yes.
It is so,
yes.
It used to be kind of a pain
TV.
in the neck, because you have to go from your phone and stream it, and that. No. I got a bottom of the barrel Costco TV in my backyard.
It's still smart, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's Costco. But it's a brand you've never heard of. Yeah, that one.
Hisense? Yeah,
sure, it's that one.
I have Hisense too, man. Yeah.
That's what I got in the back. And it's just bloop, bloop, bloop. There it is.
It's great.
By the way, Scottie Scheffler has birdied hole number 1.
I think he's PO'd?
I think he's teeing off on the back 9, but he's first hole of the day.
Think he's PO'd?
He dialed in anyways. All right. There we go. Fantastic edition of Make or Miss. Coming up, we have got a Hot Take Friday. Do I want to bring more Buffalo wing thoughts? Nah, probably not. But more news on Brendan's precious video game, and I have a hot take about said video game. Coming up next to wrap up hour number 2 on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, time to wrap up hour number 2. It is a Friday. Continuing to monitor the PGA Championship. As I mentioned, Scottie Scheffler is off. He's playing. He's golfing. Charged with a felony hours ago. As we started the show, his mugshot was being distributed. Now he is on hole number 2 of the PGA Championship second round. He also birdied his first hole. And apparently there's a destroyed set of pants out there somewhere. So we may dive back into this. One of the craziest stories I can think of. Crazy from the sense of of all the things and the people involved, the person involved. It's, again, thought it was a joke. But regardless, we will keep an eye on the tournament. And as more and more details are coming out, boy, that body cam footage is going to be crazy. They got to have it, right? Now, they were all in,
I did actually look that up, Justin.
It was raining, though, so they were wearing the rain jackets. Did that, maybe
it might have
disrupt the body cam?
A quick Google search, and again, it's we've all learned in the last 4 years, every city and every state has different body cam rules.
Yeah.
Louisville requires, by law, to release footage within 10 days.
Boom.
So I would imagine if it exists, we will see it soon. And it might not show a whole bunch more than Jeff Darlington's video, right? It was pretty close. But that's
there's
why they're there.
Because there was an incident before the handcuffs, right?
There
that
had to have been.
Didn't get filmed.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And, it did maybe on a body cam.
Yes,
so, anyways, it's one of the craziest.
What a fun conversation it's been this morning.
Nuts. It is so nuts. So, we may dive back into that in the third hour. But it is also the end of the week. And the fancy coffee isn't the only thing that's hot around here. It is time for Hot Take Friday. Here we go. Maybe less of a hot take, more of a statement. And again, I am an outsider. I am an outsider with what I'm about to talk about. I am not an insider. Brenden happens to be. But I also know a thing or two about hype and expectations. Hot take. College football 2024 from EA Sports is not going to live up to the hype. It is going to be massively, massively overrated. And I do think there is going to be a massive backlash because, Brenden, I don't care if they create the greatest video game in the history of video games. It can't possibly live up to the expectation. There was a countdown just to see what the cover was.
In my head, I go
4-second clips of the game. People are freaking out online. Plus, what has it been, 10 years? A 10-year wait? All leading up to this summer. I think it's going to be a fun game, and I think people. But that first week, hot take, there are going to be people hating on this left and right.
Maybe even me, since I'm going to buy it early and get it, get the whole combo. But
there's no way there's no way it can live up to it.
It's a totally fair hot take.
This is like the life of Pablo. Remember when Kanye had the life of Pablo and he kept. Back when we liked Kanye, and then The Life of Pablo came out, I was like, this is trash. And then he took it back, and then he put it again, and he took it back. And it was
that's
hey, I'm going to do a listening party. And everybody shows up. They're like, well, this is not good.
This is what gives me hope, Justin. NC-14 was so, if you were to play it now, you'd be so shocked at how bad the graphics are. And if they even if they just made it as good as Madden, which is, Madden takes some hate each year because they're like, it's the same game, for 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
But the rosters change. So, you're right. I don't think the game will be life-changing. I think it's just going to be really cool that you can, fire up NC football, go win a natty with the Ducks.
Because every single year you guys were without it. It, added more and more to the lore of what it was. So what's going to be a bigger disappointment in your world? This particular video game or the final season of Yellowstone?
Oh, without a doubt, final season of Yellowstone. Because in my head, I'm like, don't expect the world. I'm just happy it's back. So as long as it's...
That is the other part of it. There's probably a lot of people I don't care if it's bad. I don't care if it's the same game with new... it could be...
Terrible game.
College Football 14.
Yes.
But just with...
new people, and I'd take
Quinn Ewers there, right? And you'd be like, oh, we're still good.
But you're right. I think in a lot of ways, we're all thinking it's going to be this life-changing game, nonstop, daylight. And it might not be. It might not be. It's just I miss being able to play with my beeps, man. I really do. All right, Justin.
I just think that's just my hot take. Is like,
No,
I saw so much. You talked about it yesterday because it's not in my algorithm.
Yes.
And then there's other entities in my pop culture world. They're all talking the cover of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I wasn't quite as
easy.
obsessed. I mean, it was cool to see, but I was like, cover. I'm more like, when will it arrive in my mailbox? That's what I want to know. But anyway, Justin, my hot take, coming from the food side, you're probably going to think it's sacrilege, what I'm saying. But, Justin, I went out to lunch yesterday. And
where'd you go?
Well, hold the
We're gonna find
This
out.
is where the hot take's going to come from. Hot take. Olive Garden breadsticks aren't what they used to be.
Ooh, I am fascinated. Tell me more.
So maybe
Tell me
it was
more.
just maybe
Nah,
it was,
it's been. I haven't been to an Olive Garden in maybe 10 years.
okay. So
I
not,
haven't-
not,
I
a,
haven't
not a
been.
spot you and Kelly would go for
No.
a meal. Okay, fair enough.
Not on our list.
Fair enough. Is that
Nothing against Olive Garden, it's just not on the list.
sure? Is there one even close to you? Really? You'd have to come to this
I
one,
couldn't
right?
tell you.
Yeah, you'd have
I'm
to.
sure there's one Clackamas.
Yeah, there's one in Clackamas. So either
Yeah.
this one here or Clackamas. And again, shout out the one just across the street from us here. Was met up with Mom for lunch and went and had lunch. Food was great. Service was great. But Justin, I think the breadsticks have taken a step down because I had some breadsticks yesterday and it kind of.
Do you think it's an overall Olive Garden issue, or is this?
It could have been a bad.
Or is it just got a bad batch?
Yeah, we got a couple orders, right? So it's like took one home, right? Had that with the second meal, had some, and I said they just seemed a little dried out, not quite as good as they used to be, and that's where Justin and I forever have gone back and forth, been like, is it better the chips and salsa at a Mexican restaurant, breadsticks, bread? And yesterday kind of shored it up for me. I've never had bad chips and salsa. I've now had mediocre breadsticks at Olive Garden. So, hot take, I think they're going down a little bit. Not that they aren't still great taste.
And listen,
but they're not quite the holy grail, in my opinion, they used to be.
I do not have business acumen. I am not an economist, nor am I a restaurateur. Right? Have I thrown that out enough to where people can understand? I'm not, but I listen to people who are smart, and then I copy what they say and pretend it's my own. The whole food cost thing, I think some places are cutting corners. And I would imagine if I was Olive Garden and you were like, all right, we need to cut some corners here. Maybe dial back the butter on the breadsticks. We could save a whole ton of money. Like, let's just dial back the butter a little bit. And because they're free. Then you don't pay for the breadsticks.
Yeah, it just didn't quite hit. I was like, okay, first batch, seemed a little dried out. Second batch, a little bit better, but still just didn't quite seem as good as it used to be.
Because this has been my thing, and people who are my age understand that McDonald's French fries in the 80s were better than French fries. Even though McDonald's French fries still the GOAT now, they were better in the 80s. And you're like, wow, you just think that because you were a child in the 80s. And then we found out, no, they were cooking them in beef fat. And that's why they were delicious. And now it's vegetable oil. Still great, but they were actually different. And it's like, oh, the Coca-Cola is different. And it's like, yeah, but you were just, again, no, it turns out it is different. We might have to do a thorough investigation. We might have to I-Team reports Olive Garden breadstick style. All right. Fantastic hot take. Coming up, hour number 3, Aaron Fentress Show, RCM Mailbag, more on Scottie Scheffler and the PGA Tour and Louisville Metro PD. Next on 620 Rip City Radio. It is 8 a.m. on a Friday morning. Justin Myers with you. Minnesota Timberwolves blow out the Denver Nuggets last night, 115-70 to set up a winner-take-all Game 7 in Denver. Anthony Edwards led the way for the Minnesota Timberwolves with 27 points. NBA basketball continuing tonight, Indiana and New York. Game 6 from Indianapolis. In a bizarre misunderstanding, Scottie Scheffler was detained, then arrested by local Louisville PD as he was attempting to enter Valhalla Country Club to warm up for his second round early this morning. He was charged with 4 crimes, 1 felony, 3 misdemeanors. He has since released a statement, was released and 1 under for the day, sitting at 5 under for the tournament. Coming up in 20 minutes, friend of the program, Aaron Fentress from the Oregonian, is going to be joining us. We have an RCM mailbag, but hour number 3 on one of the most bizarre sports days I can remember starts right now at 620 Rip City Radio. Hey, welcome back to Rip City Mornings, everybody. Hopefully you are having a fantastic Friday. It's been a day for Scottie Scheffler, I can tell you that. This is one of the most bizarre sports stories that I can remember. Because like I mentioned, you could probably put 50 other golfers in that situation, and I could be like, nah. I guess I can understand. Maybe they got a little heated, you know. But, if you were to say, Justin, if you had to bet a significant amount of money on a golfer you guarantee will not be arrested in the next 5 years, I'd be like, Scottie Scheffler.
How do you think?
He loves Jesus. He loves his family. He doesn't do anything but win golf tournaments. This is unbelievable.
What do you think that phone call was like to Mrs. Scheffler this morning?
You think he used his one phone? Do you still get one phone call?
Yeah, that's still legit. Well,
it's still a thing?
He probably called his agent or his lawyer.
I would imagine agent would be first phone
call.
But
do you think she found out on TV, or do you think she found out from him?
Well,
that's a good question, right?
I would imagine, because I know Jeff Darlington, who's again on TV right now. He was there. I don't know yet so Jeff Darlington works for ESPN. He is covering Scottie Scheffler for the tournament. So that's why he was on the scene. I don't know if Jeff Darlington was in the car, or
we don't know,
or
right?
if he was if he was trailing.
Maybe he was in a chase car
in another car. But he was clearly there to get a good chunk of it on camera. And I would imagine probably somebody else, because Scottie Scheffler doesn't just drive himself to the course, right?
Well, he was driving the car.
So I know he's driving the car, but
interesting.
Was his caddy with him? Was his agent with him? Was handle somebody, right? I just can't.
Really good point.
I don't know. I don't know how. Because I would imagine it has to do with every single golf. I will say this. If I'm a golfer, Brenden, I ain't driving anywhere. I'm getting a guy, and he's driving the car.
100%.
I shall be sitting in the passenger seat. You're not going to take me down like you took down Scheffler.
Conspiracy theory time.
But, the question is, if this was Tiger Woods, who is the most recognizable golfer in the world, and clearly, even if you are not a golf fan, if you were doing some sort of police work in and around, Louisville PD knows that the PGA Championship's going on. They might not be golf aficionados. They might not even be casual golf fans, but they certainly know what is going on, right? There's a reason why they were there. There's a reason why it was such big police presence after a very tragic accident happened this morning. In the back of their mind, think all right, this might be a golfer. I don't know. But again, according to the police report, and I gotta find the police report, because there's a whole thing on on pants and all that. But according to the police report, the officer claims he was hit with the car. Now, Scheffler's lawyer says that didn't happen. One of these times, or somewhere in the next couple of days, if not this cop's body cam, somebody's body cam had to be rolling. And, well, we're going to find out. Because I will say, when you read the story, right, there was a misunderstanding, and you think, well, did the cop overact? But if I am a police officer and I'm like telling you to stop and you keep going and you hit me with your car, you're going to get handcuffs put on you. That's just what's going to happen. Maybe there's somewhere in the middle. I don't know. Tip of the cap.
I keep thinking, Justin, of that scene, and it's a very specific one where shortly after when he's in his gotta figure out how to drive again, when Talladega Nights Ricky Bobby hits the police officer and backs over him, and then he's like, "Sorry, officer, won't happen again." And then he rear ends the car, and then he's like, gets arrested, takes the license and everything. And I'm like, I would be curious to know, because Justin and I still can't figure out what the felony aspect of this is.
Well, if he, again, I am not a legal expert.
You're married to one, though.
I am married to one. That
phone a friend.
Knowledge does not come through osmosis. All right. That knowledge stays with my very talented and smart wife.
You're not absorbing that, Justin?
No.
Oh, come on, man.
Can I
Too busy watching Jeopardy, man.
First off, there are many, many. I could go for hours upon hours about all the great things about my wife. Can I tell you one of the best things about being married to a lawyer? Anytime there's something I need to sign, I give it to her.
Genius.
I'm like, hey, we have to do this whole thing. I go, Cal, read this. Should I sign this? And she'll yeah, you're fine. Or she'll be no, don't do it. It's so nice. It is such a benefit of they call it in-house counsel. Yeah, I got it. Actually in the house. But I did want to throw this out. Is Scottie Scheffler going to be more liked because of this? Serious. More like, this is a joke from one of our listeners. But Scottie on Twitter is like, not Scottie Scheffler, but Scottie listener. It's like, hey, he's just one of us. Head to the course for a round with the boys, do something stupid, and have to call your wife to come pick you up from jail. Now, it's never been me. I've never had to call anybody, but Brenden, I do know someone who has been arrested on a golf course. I do know that has happened. Seen it. It's
fair enough. Makes sense.
Somebody hits into somebody, argument ensues, fight ensues, cops are called, somebody goes away. I've seen that. Wasn't me, thankfully, but golf club gets taken in for evidence. Let's just say that. Seen that. But yeah, because the thing about Scheffler, I think even to most golf fans, it's nothing to dislike about him. Boring, milquetoast, but you cannot deny greatness. And I think most golf fans, even if you're like me, right? I'm a Rory McIlroy guy. Rory's my guy. Stuck with the tour. Love the way he plays. Wish I could play anywhere close to that. But Rory's my guy. He's the guy I root for. But now that Tiger Woods is, Tiger, I'm an ultimate Tiger Woods fan. But as terms of guys in contention, I've picked my horse, and that's Rory McIlroy. Even there, you go can't hate Scottie Scheffler. But I don't know of anybody out there who would consider themselves a Scottie Scheffler fan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because he has no charisma. He has no moxie. Whereas Rory does. Clearly Brooks Koepka does. Jordan Spieth does.
And the golf,
Like all these guys, they've got charisma and moxie and a little,
or a little zap to them. Like, because again,
there's a proper word, a little zap to
because I've told you this before, and I know I'm kind of in the minority here, but it's just when I started watching golf, I really do like Scott. There's a bunch of guys I liked, but you just named a bunch of them. I'm a Tiger guy. I like Tiger too, but right now, just because he's kind of polarizing, and I this. I like Bryson DeChambeau, and he's very.
I do not.
Right. And
I think he is a D-bag among all D-bags.
Right, and I kind of enjoy that frat guy, like just kind of disrupting.
God, I dislike him
Justin,
so much.
does it surprise you that I like a disruptor? It really should not surprise you, right?
Okay, here's what surprises me. It doesn't surprise me that outlier, not quite with the norm, understood. Surprises me. D-bag frat guy would be someone, because I get a sense, now I was not with you anywhere near college. I have a hunch you hated those guys. Just a sense.
Yes.
You and I went to school at the same time. I don't think we would be friends. I think you would hate me. Luckily, there was about 15 years difference. But yeah. I get the sense you're like,
to an extent, sure. I think there's always
guy is your
guy.
I
I think there's always frat guys that are that way. I had a couple of my good friends who rushed and were in fraternities for several years. So
what fraternity were they in? SAE?
Yes, SAE was one of them.
Do you still have their phone number? You're gonna text them. I'm sorry.
Yes, I do.
There may have been.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to confess to it, but I wonder if the statute of limitations is up. Let's just say SAE got a little.
Were the Lions there when you were there?
They were, but on their back porch, they got a little careless with.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye on a beer keg. I'm just saying.
Got you. Heard.
I don't know anything after that.
Heard.
Do not know anything after that.
Yeah. And then I think my other guy was a Fiji. So again, I kind of I know that, but it's like I like Bryson because he hits the ball really hard.
Boom. That's always fun.
He ticks off a lot of other golfers, which I think
he's dialed that back down a bit, but you're right. There was
when we first met him in COVID, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, here's this guy who's like really rubs. So yeah, I don't know, but like I said, I like a lot of golfers. I don't have one guy that I kind of circle, been like I want him to win over everybody, but
like Bryson seems like the guy that if you go to like your average summer scramble and like he shows up with his boy, you're like, God.
Yep, totally.
God, like seriously, who told like?
But I think people will rally.
But nobody felt that way about Scottie Scheffler.
No, and I think
that gives it, as dumb as it is, it like makes him look a little more human.
It does. I think people will rally behind this and kind of be like he might be everybody's favorite golfer now. Be like, remember that time he was arrested? I mean, that's gonna hold for a long time, Justin. I must say.
Still bizarre. Still bizarre story. All right, coming up next, friend of the program, Aaron Fentress, going to be joining us on 620 Rip City Radio. I'm very excited to welcome in a friend of the program. You know him from the Oregonian. You know him from OregonLive.com. You may have argued with him on X or Twitter at Aaron J. Fentress. It is time to welcome back to the show, Aaron Fentress. What's up, buddy? How we doing? We good? Fentress, you there? Oh, no. Uh-oh. That was what a great intro that was. And now we're having again my favorite part of the show, which is of course technical difficulties and being able to get it figured out. Is this a Bluetooth problem? Is this a all right, are we good now? Fentress, are you there? Aaron, how we doing? Wait, there we go. We got it? Are we good now? There we go. Got it. All right. Turns out, Fentress, welcome. Good morning. How you doing? That was on our end, but just so you know, for the last 15 seconds, I blamed you. All right. What'd you think when you opened up Twitter this morning and you saw Scottie Scheffler got arrested? How crazy is that? No, he's playing in the tournament right now. He's 1 under for the day. He had 1 felony, 3 misdemeanors, got booked, got put into an orange jumpsuit, got a mugshot that's going around the internet, then posted bond, statement from a lawyer, made it to the course in time, teed off. Like, this is one of the most impressive feats we've seen in sports in a while. Felony charge in the morning, and he's 2 under. Well, I was thinking about, like, because to me, like, of all the golfers in the world that you would be like, would not expect this to happen would be Scottie Scheffler because he's the most boring milquetoast. Like, what was the last sports story you can remember where you're like, this whole thing is absolutely bizarre? I go back way, way, way far back, Fentress. The fact that we don't talk enough about Michael Jordan quit basketball and played baseball for 2 years is kind of fascinating to me. Like that, like the fact that we just kind of pretend that didn't happen. Yeah. It's like I've always talked about things before Twitter that if happened during Twitter. Number one is OJ Bronco chase. But for me, number 2 is like Michael Jordan quit basketball and played baseball, and it's like that's like pre-Twitter. But could you imagine the Twitter hot takes? Could you imagine if Stephen A. Smith was on First Take if Jordan's retiring from basketball to play baseball? I could not imagine the hot takes on First Take. Yeah, I think he was just. Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's dive into this. We just had to address the Scottie Scheffler thing because it's like the craziest thing in sports that's happening today. But let's talk some Blazers real quick. Yeah, exactly. Well, I hear you, but they got 2 first-round picks. A lot of people very upset. A lot of people kind of crying in their cornflakes a week ago when it came down that the Blazers were going to be picking 7th instead of maybe even number 1 overall instead of number 3 overall. Now, the word on this draft, Fentress, is that it is a bad draft, that it is a down draft. I don't know because I've never seen any of these guys play except for the Klingon kid for UConn and the Shelton kid for Kentucky, and I just watched them in the tournament. But, like, this feels like a couple people at the top decided this was a down draft, and everybody has just kind of parroted that because that's just what everybody is saying. Or is this really just a bad draft? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, I think it was like 29, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reed Shepherd from Kentucky. All that being said, Fentress, you and I both know the Blazers are taking a 6'3" point guard. They just can't help themselves. Yeah. Aaron Fentress from the Oregonian joining us here on 620 Rib City Radio. One last thing on the draft. Then I want to talk some football with you. But this is the thing that I get a little bit fired up about because I understand the lore of having a top 3 pick, and I understand with what Anthony Edwards is doing and with what Kyrie and Luka are doing and Jason Tatum. Like, I get it. Like, those are clear paths to getting to the top levels with those top 3 picks. But also, like, it's as if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was drafted at 11, isn't out there, or that Tyrese Halliburton, who was drafted at 12. And I know that Jokic is the exception's exception in terms of second-round guy drafted during a Taco Bell commercial is a 3-time MVP. But, like, the idea that you have to have a top 4 pick to be able to find a like Dame was at 6. He carried the franchise for almost a decade, like the fact that you're at 7 and even at 14, like those guys are out there. They exist. You got to do the homework and kind of get a little lucky, right? Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian, friend of the program, joining us here on 620 Rip City Radio. All right. We went from one thing that I always get fired up about, which is people getting all worried about what number you draft at. And then the other thing that happened this week, which is, of course, Fentress, the NFL schedule gets released. And I don't know what it is mentally. I would like if I was smarter or if I knew like a sociologist to do an experiment on just sports fans of the fact that we seem to forget that the NFL changes so much from year to year. Yet every spring when the schedule gets released, everybody freaks out and is like, oh, the NFL is trying to screw over the whatever team it is. And it's like they have the fourth hardest schedule on the road. It's like, yeah, the NFL is going to change that real fast. I get a kick out of it. Also, it kind of irritates me. Where are you on the fan overreaction to the schedule release, especially like where the bye is? I love that. Bye outrage is my favorite. Boom. Boom. So what you're saying is I should be talking about sports on this sports talk show because we may have talked about whether or not Olive Garden breadsticks have gone downhill. That was the subject earlier today. Exactly. But who doesn't want to go through 17 games in a row going, that's a win, that's a win, that's a loss? By the way, everybody's going to be 11-6. Did you know that? I've seen all the reaction. Everybody's going to be 11-6.
Do the 7-round mock draft for the teams they cover. Oh my God! And when I cover the Seahawks, you do it because people like that stuff. And I'm a football fan. You would think I would love that stuff, but no, it's literally closing your eyes and throwing darts at your family in the living room and hoping you don't hit one. Like it's just, it's so pointless. There's no way anyone hits on those things. Like well, luck into one in the third round. Go, oh, I called this. You didn't call Jack. You just guessed. Because I did one of these when I was at the Athletic. I did one, and I had them taking someone in the middle of rounds, and they actually took him. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was blind luck. I mean, I didn't really dive into the analysis of it. I just thought, I need this position. This guy's good. I'll put him in there. And then, it worked out. But those things drive me bananas.
Well, you got to take a victory lap on that one, though, right? If you get a third round offensive lineman out of the MAC, you're like, I'm taking a victory lap on this one.
No, but I knew I knew it was just blind luck. It's not like I did a deep dive and just broke it down and had it. No, I just was like, okay, they need a tight end or whatever it was, and here's the top projected tight ends around this pick. Oh, okay, I'll pick this one.
Aaron Fentress from the Oregonian joining us here on 620 Rip City Radio. Fentress, are you a video game guy? Are you like super producer Brenden? Are you all geeked out for this college football video game that everybody's freaking out about?
I am kind of pumped up for that. That was a fun game to play. I play the sports games. I don't play many of the shoot-'em-up games, although I've played some. But yeah, I was an NCAA football guy, and I remember going through and when you had to put the names in yourself for the roster, because they would look like Marcus Mariota character would look just like Mariota, right?
Yeah.
He'd be 6'4",
It's just a coincidence that
hair.
number 8 is a 6'4" Hawaiian guy, right?
Yeah,
Just a coincidence.
exactly. And so you just had to change his name to Mariota. Oh, and then when they had the ability to upload and stuff like that, other people around the country would create the entire top 25 with names on it. You can go and upload it or what have you. So yeah, those games are fun, man. It was fun. I would get into the whole program building, like recruiting. I wouldn't even play the game sometimes. I would just do the recruiting and build the roster and then simulate the season and have to go out and recruit again. And that stuff was kind of fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that come back.
I don't know, because again, I don't know jack about video games. I'm not a gamer, but I am fascinated.
You're an adult?
What's that?
You're an adult?
Well, I do a lot of other stuff I watch a lot of TikTok videos, so I'm not really.
Okay, so you're not
I'm not really
okay,
any
yeah.
highbrow. I just watch TikTok videos on my phone instead of play a video game. But I am fascinated, right? How are they? Because I do know, like you said, you could build a program and you got to recruit and all that stuff. Like, do you got to go glad hand collectives now in the video game? Like, how well can you pull in all of your boosters? How big is your NIL purse?
100%. I wonder what they're going to do with that in the first year, if they're going to factor that in or not. Because in the back in the day, you just had to I think you had to spend a certain amount of points on recruiting on a certain player to try and persuade them. And of course, geography mattered. So I used to be Miami a lot because I'm a Hurricane guy. But if I went to recruit someone from California, it was tougher than recruiting from someone in Florida. It would cost more, and it'd be less interest initially. It's those kind of things. You got to play the regional game. So it was kind of semi-intricate. I would be fascinated to see what they're going to do with NIL. If it's you just call up a dude and the guy's mom answers and says, yeah, Texas A&M is in for $400,000. What do you got? We're going to offer a great education. Click. Okay. What do you want? $450,000. Okay, I'll get back to you. USC just came in at $600,000. What do you like? That would be hilarious.
Well, also, you have a health meter. Like, hey, this guy health meter is what is his disgruntled meter because he might be transferring out. Yep. Right? It's hey, your backup running back is not happy with his NIL package. He's gonna hit the portal. You better do some glad handing. This is gonna be a fantastic
100%. 100%. If they don't have it now, they're gonna have it. You have to protect some of the guys transferring. His playing time's not where it should be. They actually have those temperament meters in baseball, the baseball game, and the show, which to me is the best game by far, and even in Madden. So you can turn it off and on, but let's say you sign a pitcher and they want to be a starter, and you make him a starter, and then all of a sudden you put him in the bullpen, his temperament will go down, and then his abilities will go down. It's crazy. I turn that stuff off. It's I ain't got time to be babysitting little computer man, right? You're all going to be happy with whatever role I put you in, and that's it.
You got a junior starting quarterback, and you were recruiting a 5-star out of Texas, and all of a sudden he is going to be gone. Yep. Hey, you can find Fentress on Twitter at Aaron J. Fentress. You can obviously read his stuff in the Oregonian and OregonLive.com. Fentress, thanks so much, bud. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.
You too, man. Later.
There you go, Aaron Fentress. Yeah, the temperament. I didn't know about temperament MLB The Show. They got to have that. You got a backup running back who now you're recruiting a 5-star, and it's he's gone. He's getting a little homesick. Oh,
it's gonna be tough. He's right. Fentress is right. I used to love doing that team building part of it too. A lot more effort now.
All right, coming up next, RCM Mailbag to wrap up the show on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, time to wrap up the big show, not just for the day, but for the week. Real quick before we get to the RCM mailbag, you know who is maybe the biggest Scottie Scheffler fan, maybe in all of America right now? Brenden, care to venture a guess?
Do I know him or her or her? Her.
You know of this person, yeah.
Okay, but not like on staff or on station.
No.
Josh Pate.
Harrison Buckner's got to be like so pumped. He's got to be like so pumped nobody's talking about him anymore.
Ain't that the truth? He's like, thank goodness, distraction
Harrison Buckner was the biggest story in sports 2 days ago.
It was.
And all of a sudden, like, all right, number one golfer in America got arrested. Nobody's talking about me anymore.
We're
done.
The most out there.
I had to wait it out. Didn't have to put out a statement. Didn't have to walk it back.
This is classic.
Took some slings and arrows, just kept my head down and waited for something else to happen. Like this Internet 101, right? And again, this is not, saying agree. I'm just saying Internet 101. Do something that everybody seems to kind of hate. Just put your head down until somebody does something and people move on.
Yeah, I mean, and this wasn't even really,
But I was just, Harrison Buckner's got to be going today going like, whoo, all right, I can get back on my phone again.
That helped. Yeah, he took a victory lap today. Only because when we're talking like no one would have expected. I just said this to Justin between the break. Like, folks, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, is at peak form right now. It is all Scottie Scheffler and the video game. Like, there is not one word about Harrison Bucker. So it's like, yeah, that turned out pretty well.
All right, I can get back on my phone again. All right, what are we doing? Mailbag? Let's do it.
All right, Justin, firing up the big mailbag today.
By the way, when you got your Olive Garden and you got your breadsticks that were a little separate, did you get the salad as well?
I did.
Go with the salad?
Crush that salad. That was good. That was still
Salad's still
salad and my entree. Like I said, my entree was solid.
What was the entree?
I got like a ziti with like
baked ziti.
Yeah, with like all the fixins and stuff, and it was so good. But yeah, like again, just kind of meh for the breadstick game, which
they might have just been having a tough day.
It could have been a tough day.
Might have just been a tough day. Might have got a bad batch. Might have been a bad batch.
And
not just the batch. I mean, like the whole whatever they made.
And let me ask you this, Justin. This is where we're going to open.
Now, you've worked in food service,
I have.
so like when you were at like Five Guys, did you ever get like, or Sonic? Did you ever get like these tots just aren't living up to it today? Like it just happened.
Yeah,
not your fault.
Yeah, more so.
We just don't have good tots today.
Yeah, more so. I think maybe at Sonic because you were, back then. What is this? 2015, 2016. Speed was the name of the game, not necessarily quality. If you get what I'm saying. Five Guys, Justin's quality. Name of the game. There was never a bad meal we put out of that kitchen. Fries were always cooked the same way. Burgers. I mean, Five Guys has a big one thing. No, we don't do modified burgers because all of them cook well done. Like it's just easy, straight. But yeah, totally. But I'm curious, Justin, because something else happened to me, or I saw something else at Olive Garden that caught my eye too. What is the best food that you've been brought in for an office lunch party? Because this awesome dude comes in and our table was right by the takeout area and $194 at Olive Garden. Bringing back lunch for probably the office, the group, the whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, man, as far as office lunches go, having someone be like, get me your order for Olive Garden, it's pretty clutch, Justin.
So you're thinking like from a restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay, because there was one Thanksgiving, the radio station I worked at had a guy come in and do deep fried turkeys.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And that was awesome, but that's not really in the spirit of
so,
what
I mean,
you were throwing out
everybody
there.
goes with pizza, but like I've had some cool things brought into office parties. I've had
Well, it's
Hawaiian
tough because pizza is the only thing that I think you can actually it travels.
It does.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can bring in pizza, it's 20 minutes from when it was made, it's still okay. You get a burger and fries 15 minutes after, like that window it's closed.
Not the same.
Probably Chick-fil-A, but not chicken sandwiches. A big old mess of chicken nuggets. I think that's probably the best. Like a Chick-fil-A, like a steamer tray full of chicken nuggets
It's pretty good.
was probably it.
Yeah, one of my
best office luncheon.
Yeah, like there's been back when I was on street team here at iHeart, we had so much stuff. I couldn't even say. Like there used to be, a lot of things we would get just being out and whatnot. But one of my favorites, Justin, funny you say that. I think it was the year before COVID. Last time I worked Les Schwab Invitational, so the 19. And they one of those things where like, the media kind of have like their dedicated area. Dude, they brought in probably like 200 Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
And you're like, darn, no sauce on these, like just bun and chicken. They save, and pickles, they save pretty well on those little, like the aluminum foil lined bags that they come in. I remember, maybe it was just that you're hungry, but like, it's kind of funny, Justin. And sorry, I got to get my shot in here just because it's Friday, and why not? It's funny how OSAA could provide better food to their media than Oregon State University.
Well.
Go figure, Oregon State. But,
All right, there we go. All right, it's a hot
am I not
we
wrong,
did hot
though?
takes. We did hot takes an hour ago, but you mentioned Chick-fil-A, and I'm just going to throw out one more hot take. Pickles ruin chicken sandwiches. They do. There's pickles do not add anything to chicken sandwiches. Some may say pickles might add something to a burger. I would disagree there as well, but I could see pickles add nothing to a chicken sandwich. Why do they continue to put them on there? All you need is chicken and sauce. If you want to throw lettuce and tomato, make it a deluxe. That's fine. But pickles ruin chicken sandwiches. They do. They're on, they don't belong.
Yeah.
They don't belong.
I respect the take. Strongly disagree. I think the pickle adds the saltiness and the crunch.
It's saltiness. It's nothing but salt. It's a seasoned flour.
It's,
if you have to add saltiness with the pickle, then something's wrong with your,
would you put
with your
relish?
batter.
Would you put relish on it?
No.
Okay. So,
No.
yeah. So, again, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. But you don't enjoy that little bit of crunch, that little bit of sweet, no?
No, I feel like it ruins it. I feel like the chicken sandwich is ruined with the pickles.
Well, I'll say this, Justin. Chick-fil-A has built an empire going against your theory.
That's very true.
So, no, but it's hot take, right?
It's very true.
It's hot take. But yeah, no, it's fair. I respect
stores
the hot
everywhere.
take.
Of all the fast food places, it's the one that is not losing any money right now. It's like,
and they're not even open 7 days a week. So how about that, right? Chick-fil-A still cleans house and closed one day out of the week.
Just get the pickles off. And
I respect
and I
the
can
take.
pick them off because I do. But just get rid of the pickles. You got a good thing going there, Chick-fil-A. All right, that's going to do it for the big show. Thanks to Aaron Fentress. Thanks to super producer Brenden. Thanks to all of you. Have a terrific weekend. Listen to the cops when they direct you in traffic. And hopefully we'll talk to you on Monday morning, bright and early here on 620 Rip City Radio.